Now there ain't nothing to it, go ahead and bring Goliath on. Ain't no giant, I ain't gon' fire on. Catch a fade, you, I'm wrong, I'm gone. Y'all can catch the wave that I am on. I am icon, y'all are wide wrong. Think that I'm a reconcile bond, so ain't nothing to it though. This is on me, ain't got much to do with who you know. Keeping it true to form 10 L's into a milli though. But they already knew that those farewell to your opinions. Know that he is something. This is all me, ain't got much to do with who you know. Yeah, keeping it true to form, but they already knew that.
All right, welcome to the Fantasy Six Pack 2023 Fantasy Football Team Previews. This episode, we are covering the Buffalo Bills. My name is Joe Bond, founder of FantasySixPack.net. With me covering the AFC East is Dylan Clemons. What's up, man?
What's going on?
All right, so before we jump into things, just want to remind everybody to hit that subscribe button, leave those comments. We appreciate it. And go over to FantasySixPack.net/plans. Become an all-access member. It's definitely worth it, guys. You're going to get our draft cheat sheet. You're going to get our access to all of our award-winning rankings. We've got Dynasty. We've got Redraft. We've got IDP. We've got Rookies. We got it. We're going to have Best Ball here coming soon, too. We've got a Discord where you're going to get access to our premium channels inside of there where you can ask us your custom questions for your league. And so that is, I mean, that's worth it alone, in my opinion. So,
Absolutely.
But without further ado, let's jump into our Buffalo Bills team preview. And we will start with the quarterbacks: Josh Allen, Kyle Allen, Matt Barkley. I mean, look, there's nobody to talk about here except Josh Allen, obviously. Yep. So, you know, the one thing about Josh Allen, and, you know, we've seen this kind of slowly decline here as he's become a better passer, is, you know, he's running a little bit less. Is there any worry in your mind that, you know, because we got guys like Jalen Hurts coming up right now, and things like that, and, you know, even, Josh Fields running like crazy, you know, do you worry that Justin Fields, do you worry that Josh Allen, because he is capping his rushing attempts at this point, it seems like, may not finish where he's getting drafted, which is typically the first quarterback off the board, if not second?
I think he's still going to be all right. But it worries me a little bit because Josh Allen has said that in an interview that he needs to take care of his body a little better, that he needs to relax on the running. And their GM has come out and said it as well, that we need Josh healthy. And last year, say what you want, he played through it. But he wasn't the same after that elbow injury early in the season. But
actually, I apologize. I said he started running less. He actually has been running more every single year, which is nuts. I did not realize that.
Yeah, he definitely needs to relax. And, you know, jumping ahead of ourselves a little bit, but that's probably why they brought in James Cook last year early in the draft, because they need him to start checking the ball instead of doing it on the ground himself. Excuse me. But, man, he was still number one in air yards last year, Joe, and still threw 35 touchdowns. So if it decreases even a little bit, I think he still should be, you know, a top 3 quarterback off the board.
Yeah, him, Mahomes, and Hurts are clearly 1, 2, 3. And, you know, anything can happen. We see it every single year with those quarterbacks at the top, but they seem almost safer than any other, you know, trio of quarterbacks that we drafted near the top than anybody else. And we had this debate, and it was out on our mock draft article that just went out by Mark Strasburg, where we had a huge debate in the sleeper chat about the quarterbacks just going off the board, just flying off the board early. And I was shocked because of the, you know, industry draft, right? And so you usually see quarterbacks go late. Man, through like 4 rounds, there was like 6 quarterbacks off the board. I was like, geez, that was crazy.
I think I was the first one to hop on the Patrick Mahomes.
You just don't typically see it, but it seems like it's a change of, you know, mindset when it comes to these top quarterbacks. They get you such a massive point.
They do.
You know, swing in your favor over your streamable guys. And yeah, you can make the streaming work, but maybe it's not the route to go anymore. But not totally sold yet, but maybe we'll get there. So over to running backs here. You did mention James Cook. coming in. They brought in Damien Harris from the Patriots. Latavius Murray. Okay. And then Nyheim Hines. Everybody, like, somebody's drafting Nyheim Hines, I guarantee it, because people just love this guy. But no, do not do that.
No.
Look, we know that they just do not run the ball as much as they should. They've got talented running backs. They always have, it feels like. They just don't run the ball as much. They let Allen do his thing. But do we see this changing a little bit with some of the stuff that you said earlier about Allen and him running less and maybe protecting him a little bit more? And then if you do see that, like, which one of these two, Harris or Cook, do you think should be the guy?
Yeah, man, the more and more I look into it, Joe, I'm liking James Cook more. He was third in yards per touch amongst running backs and first in breakaway run rate. So he's explosive as well, according to Player Profiler. And like we said earlier, he's going to catch the passes out of the backfield, theoretically, if Josh Allen does check the ball down more. And what we like, because, Josh Allen's threat with his legs and his throwing ability, the Bills face a light defensive front 65% of the time last season, which was fifth highest in the NFL. So that bodes well for their running backs as well. But yeah, I'm curious to see this season from Damien Harris. Like, it's probably in the realm of possibility that he could get 8 to 10 touchdowns, right?
Right.
And just kind of be that
just
annoying
thinking
vulture.
that. Or Murray, right? Murray can just piss everybody off because nobody's going to have him. You know it. And then also, like, Nyheim Hines could just turn into that, like, third down back. Like, they could split Cook and Harris as, like, the running guy. And then Hines comes in and be like, the third down pass catching back, like, 2-minute offense guy. And then Murray's just like, oh, we're on the 2-yard line. Here you go. Like, stop it. Yeah. Don't turn into the Patriots. But this is another backfield kind of like the Patriots in years past. And even this year with Stevenson, like, I'm a little reluctant to draft him just because of the history of the Patriots' usage of running backs. But this is a backfield that I probably will have very, very few shares of across my multitude of drafts that I do that I probably shouldn't, but I do a lot. But it's just one that it's like, who's going to be the guy? Like, we all want it to be Cook, but we all wanted it to be, many guys in years past, and it just has never been, especially all the years that Allen has been there. So it's just a backfield that I'm not super interested in. And, just to let you know, like, in half PPR, like, the highest ranked running back I have for Buffalo is 34, James Cook. Probably not going to have a whole lot of guys, because I'll be honest with you, there's guys going around him that I think I'd rather have. I might rather have Rashad Penny. I might rather have. Sure. I mean, do we think a bounce back with A.J. Dillon is possible? Absolutely.
Yep.
Right.
Perhaps.
Madison with Cook. I know he got. He's probably going to be there this year. But I mean, there's hype around Gibson again. There's just some dudes right around him that I'm like, I don't know if I care enough.
Sure.
Because then Damien Harris isn't far behind at 38. So it's like, do I really want Cook, who's only like a few spots higher than his backfield mate? Probably not, considering they're both like in the RB3 territory.
Yep. And Harris has more touchdown upside, kind of like we said. Yeah. So that's an interesting point as well. Yeah.
So over here to the wide receivers, and very top heavy group. Stefon Diggs leads the way big time. Then, as much as we wanted Gabe Davis to be a thing last year, man, he went in the wrong direction, and now his ADP has caught up because of it. He has definitely gone the other way. He was being severely overdrafted last year. Khalil Shakir, Deontay Hardy, Trent Sherfield, Justin Shorter, whatever. Outside, I think Diggs is safe, right? We know Diggs is going to do Diggs things. He started off pretty slow last year, but turned things around. He was good. Gabe Davis, though, man, he's the one that I think everybody's like, you're seeing a lot of mixed conversation on Twitter about him right now, and it's, Gabe Davis is not worth the ADP. He's a post-hype sleeper type thing. Mm-hmm. Do you believe in that as him being a post-hype sleeper, or somebody else is going to take that role?
I really wanted to, Joe. I really wanted to. I was in on Gabe Davis last year, and I was probably one of those guys who overdrafted him, thinking that his upside was just so high because we saw the boom weeks the year
playoffs.
But starting with the good, Joe, he was 9th in the league in snap percentage, 91%. That's good. We'll take that. 6th in average depth per target and 12th in deep targets. We'll take those. But then let's get into the bad. He was 36th in fantasy points per game. He had the 8th most drops in the NFL. And according to Player Profiler, he only won his route 37% of the time, which was 74th best in the NFL. So he's not getting open either, Joe. So
yeah,
I'm honestly worried about him, and he's really nothing more than the deep guy that we kind of already knew, but it's
which Diggs can also do. So
exactly,
like really,
exactly,
and Shakir, and
yep.
he's just got a lot of fast dudes. Let's put it that way.
Exactly. If Davis doesn't go into the slot hardly ever, that's probably going to be Khalil Shakir's role this year with the departure of I'm blanking on his name, Cole Beasley, and
I know who you're talking about. Yeah, I'm blanking on it too.
But yeah,
it's all
man,
good.
You would think you'd want another piece of this offense outside of Stefon Diggs, but I might pass on Gabe Davis a lot this year.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm in enough drafts that I might take a stab on him right now. I want to pull up his ADP right now, and I know it's best ball, so it's a little skewed. Let's see here. Fantasy football ADP. We're looking at wide receivers, and we are looking at a Mr. Gabe Davis. ADP is 43rd wide receiver.
All right, so
101 overall. I mean, you're talking like it's pretty cheap. You're talking guys that are going around him. Let me just give you a few of these names. Dotson, Cooks, and Kadarius Toney are going kind of right in front of him. After him is Juju. Michael Thomas is still getting drafted out there. No. Jameson Williams, who was suspended the first 4 games?
6 actually.
Is it 6?
Yeah.
Bateman, Odell, Quentin Johnston, Elijah Moore, Lazard. Like, I'll take a stab at Davis around that range.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you can talk.
So I feel like the ADP is right. He might. He very easily could outperform that ADP by quite a bit, but it's still going to be nowhere where he was getting drafted. I mean, he was getting drafted as a wide receiver 2 last year?
Yeah.
Near the end of draft season? It was bonkers what was happening with him. I got him pretty early in best ball before it just skyrocketed, but it got pretty out of control. But yeah, its Diggs are kind of bust for the most part with this backfield. And some of that is because they've got pretty good tight ends.
Yeah.
Dawson Knox. They brought in Dalton Kincaid and Quentin Morris. So look, Knox had a phenomenal 2021, not so phenomenal 2022, and then they bring in Kincaid, who we know is talented there, and so a lot of people are thinking he's going to be the new pass catcher in Buffalo and kind of take a lot of those red zone throws that maybe Knox was getting back in the day. But I mean, out of these two, which one do you want?
I think the upside is better with Kincaid here. I think he's going to see some more snaps in the slot. Knox played 20% in the slot last year, and I think Dalton Kincaid is just going to take all those. I think Knox is going to slide more into the inline guy. Knox last year, he had 6 receiving touchdowns, and he finished in the top 10 6 times last year, and they were 5 out of those 6 games were the weeks he scored a touchdown. So yet, Joe, another touchdown-dependent tight end here. But we do need to temper expectations for Dalton Kincaid because rookie tight ends do struggle to produce early, and obviously with a guy like Dawson Knox there as well, that's going to cap a little bit of his upside. So, but I don't think Dalton Kincaid's really being drafted right now. So. And Dawson Knox, I think, is top 15, top 16 tight end, if I had to take a guess.
So my rankings have it that way. However, ADP, and granted, it's a lot of best ball, right? But ADP is saying right now that Dawson Knox is tight end 18 and Kincaid's tight end 14.
Oh, wow.
It's definitely not that way in my rankings. It's pretty opposite with actually a larger split that Knox is a little bit higher.
that's the case, Joe, I won't have any shares of Dalton Kincaid.
Yeah, so I would want Knox for two reasons. One, he's a rookie Kincaid's a rookie tight end, and rookie tight ends struggle. They got to learn blocking schemes. It's so much more advanced to what they had to do in college.
Yeah.
And they're not going to be the dominant, like, just big bully guy that some of these guys ended up being in college, right? The other reason is, and I don't always want to read into a lot of coach speak, but when you hear things like this, that scares me. It's the Bills offensive coordinator saying the role for Dalton Kincaid is to be determined. Mm-hmm. Usually, like, if it's just like, oh man, we love this guy, like what we're hearing about, what's his name in Detroit right now, Laporta.
Yep.
Right. All we're hearing is like great things from Laporta, like, oh, he's dominating in rookie camp and blah, blah, blah. So people, the hype train's going up. And they're saying this because they've got Knox and they don't need to like lean on Kincaid. In Detroit, let's be real, they don't have a tight end. It's going to be Laporta, so they got to pump him up, right? So I think they can lean on Knox. Maybe Kincaid has some games. They can kind of like play Knox a lot more, let Kincaid learn, and just kind of grow into the role. And then maybe like year 2, Kincaid blows up. I think that might be what happens. And like, I think he's talented. He was phenomenal at Utah, but I'm just not there yet as far as this season with him for redraft.
Sure,
not where he's going in drafts right now. If that stays, through like my redraft leagues, there's no chance I have him. So, all right, well, that is it for the Buffalo Bills fantasy football team preview. I want to thank you for watching and listening, and we will see you all next time.